So, if we're not doing it live, we probably have some more flexibility, but sometime uh, before his season starts at Catholic, and he starts games and things like that, we'll pick a time and we'll go
Yep.
on. He'll have a list of questions, topic. I'll give him in advance a list of questions, topics, things like that and just kind of make it a conversation about kind of travel ball, myths and realities, what the structure looks
Hmm.
like, what he's looking for in players as a high school coach,
Yep.
as a travel ball coach, that kind of stuff. Like you have to play travel ball to make a middle school team or a high school team, those kind of things.
Well, we were talking too. We could also pull Jay in if we wanted to, and kind of balance out, like, especially at the older, like, talk about the youth leagues up through 12, and then it kind of changes at 13, 14, 15, and talk about what Jay is doing to kind of balance
Yeah.
out. Like in the past, it was either little league or travel ball, and now we have a lot more kids doing
Yeah,
both.
and then certainly, we can talk about that. And I think generally Eddie's pretty supportive of what we're doing, especially in the springtime when we're playing kind of challenge juniors tournaments in March and April as either a supplement or as a replacement for some kids for middle school
Mm-hmm.
season, right? And then that keeps those
And
kids.
that's a big loss area for some of those kids. Like if you don't make if you're at AG and don't make it, or you're at Holy Trinity and don't make the team,
Yeah,
all these other kids are getting
reps.
another
But
2 months of
yeah, and
practice
and
and
even
games.
as seventh graders, kids who were making teams weren't getting many reps, especially pitch on the mound.
True. Yep.
So the ability to go pitch, 3, 4, 5 weekends in March and April, like Sam didn't pit, basically didn't play as a seventh grader, and they were. Uh,
Yeah.
so that helped him just get you can't replace the live reps, right? You can't replicate the live
No.
reps. So that's been a huge piece of what we've done. And then there've been kids who've been able to play both, which has been good.
Yeah, and if you're in both, then you can kind of balance the load. And if it gets to be too much, you pull back a little bit on probably
Hmm.
on the challenge side and
Yep.
get through your season.
Yeah, I think we've got about 15 kids now, between 13 and 15, from Dilworth who are playing corn dogs. So
Yeah.
it's by far more than Stampede, even.
Yes.
And,
And
and a lot of it's
probably better.
Holy Trinity / Catholic, but not all of it. So
Hmm. Well, when my oldest was coming through, Stampede didn't exist, Corn Dogs didn't exist. It was a lot of Braves and SBA.
mhm.
There's some better options now, or at least
Yeah,
more
and Braves
options.
is really variable. The quality of
It
their
is.
teams
Yep.
and the
We
coaching.
got mostly lucky, but
Yeah,
there were some that didn't.
yeah. So it's
Like my Sam's class, there only was one team, so there wasn't
yeah, and even
like
even by
his coaches
year,
plus
like
dads. Yeah.
all of like mission kind of mission 2026 is really good. Their scout team is really really good, but all of their 27s essentially, and it's a bunch of like Carmel Christian and Covenant Day kids all went to South
Hmm.
Charlotte Braves.
Yep.
So just kind of never know.
Yeah, we played with a ton of Sun Valley kids at Braves at that point.
Hmm.
And then
Yeah, and like
he
point.
left and did Stampede. And when he went back to the Braves before his senior year,
Mm,
we actually had Houston as coach, and that was the best experience we ever had in travel
okay,
ball.
yeah,
But like you got the guy, right? I mean, it all comes down to who your coach is and
yeah,
luck of the draw.
yeah. Corn Dogs is a lot of decent amount of Holy Trinity Latin, Weddington,
I've always
but
been impressed with Eddie. I don't know a lot about corn dogs, but I've always been impressed with Eddie.
yeah,
Hey,
Weddington
Chris.
and Butler, because the Butler head coach is part of the program, so that's drawing some kids.
Sorry about that, guys. Is this any better?
So far, yeah,
Yeah,
I'm not getting any echo.
So when you first started up, there's something called echo cancellation that
hmm
I didn't have checked
Oh,
when I
okay.
first entered. When I
yeah,
entered the first time, and I checked it this time. Sounds like
yeah.
Good call.
I have that on.
And I never bother with it because I was
I
using
don't know how to
headset,
do it once you're in.
Yeah, it's grayed out for me
so.
once you're in, It looks
Where
like
do you see it?
it's on. I've got a kind of a menu bar on the left side of my screen that's got.
Yeah, if you hit the little gear wheel in the bottom left,
Yep.
Chris, it'll pop it out. But you can't really do much once you're in. I think you'd have to leave for a second and then pop back
Got
out.
Yeah, it won't let me reset it though. Once I was in.
Yeah, it's grayed out.
That's like my camera. Like
Yeah.
it,
Yeah, great.
yeah. With my camera right now, it's not worth messing with. But probably 5 minutes of rebooting my hub would probably take care of it. I also, Greg, when we were talking, I went ahead and hit the record button.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I
So
saw that.
I'll dump out what we have there, and I'll just give you an idea what it's going to look like when we're done.
Okay. No, that should be good.
So, Chris, we were just talking. I think Greg has good ideas for talking to Eddie, and then we can have it be just him and Eddie with you in to kickstart. I can put myself backstage if that's what we want to do. I don't know if we want to bring Jay in or talk. We could talk to Jay separately.
Yeah, what do you think about that, Greg? I was thinking it might be good to have Jay to say a few things about junior seniors, or do you just not think that this is the right forum to do that?
I think, yeah, it may not be the right forum for it. Although I was saying to Mike, one of the nice things that we've been able to do is provide a forum for some of the older players, corn dog players, to play in March and April, and then kind of mix in, challenge juniors, postseason, like Sam and Ethan and
Right. And
Josh
that's what I was thinking
Stevens.
is that, and for Jay to approach it from that angle, that it's not necessarily one or the other.
Mhm.
That the way Jay is trying to schedule it is, if you do make one of these travel ball teams, there's still an opportunity for you at Dilworth.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what I was thinking. But if you don't think,
Yeah, and I think I can, if we don't have, I can certainly touch on that
I think that might be
too,
better, maybe. So
because and I think like all last spring, I was sending Eddie updates of like, hey, this is how Earl's doing for us, and hey, Brennan, Bocor, and and things like that. And I've told him, hey, if you've got kids that are at Holy Trinity that aren't making team, aren't going to play a lot, send them our way. Because I think March and April, especially, you play 3, 4, or 5 tournaments. That's that's a lot of live reps, in that time of year, and then that whether they're playing corn dogs or not is just going to be helpful for them, because as 7th graders, you're not going to play much on a Holy Trinity or AG team.
right.
I mean, unless, yeah, only 2 7th graders really played at all last year for Holy Trinity. So
Right. Sedgefield, you might play more over there, and some of these other schools. But you're right,
yes,
AG and Holy Trinity.
But the other thing, but what the Sedgefield kids said to us is, hey, this is the only time when we're playing Junior Challenge. This is the only time we're seeing decent competition,
I know.
except for Randolph. But other than that, going to play Whitewater or Kennedy or whoever it was. I mean,
I know.
Yeah,
I know, it's too bad.
yeah. So no, I think this will work well. So what I'll do is I'll reach out to Eddie, see if we can figure out a date to do it. The fact that it's not going to be live makes it easier, right, from logistically. And he was certainly open to that, and I think maybe even prefer it. And I'll provide him with some potential topics, questions, things like that ahead of time, and then we kind of
Right.
kind of go from there.
And Chris,
Hey, Mike.
we could use this to. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, Mike. So I was just thinking, I'd like to just open it and introduce both Greg and well, I'll let Greg introduce Eddie, but I'll just mention him. But and just maybe lay it out for Dilworth families. Why we're doing this. We know you've got options. Just a quick 90-second sort of intro. But then I feel like then I should just drop off the screen. Is that like is that possible in this?
Yeah, I think I can pull you backstage. Let me check here. Yeah, I can move you backstage so you can do your thing. Then you can stay on, you can still watch it, and I can pull you back in if we need to. But like before I hit record, I'll pull myself backstage. So I'll be here watching it all if anybody has issues, running it on the backside, and I can pull you out, pop you back in if that's what we want to do.
Yeah, because I want to let Greg, Greg knows, I think best sort of the right questions to ask and how to guide the conversation. So I feel like I'm just sort of there. So I'd rather not be there if I'm not
Yeah.
involved in it. So
Yeah.
Well, Greg and I were talking a little bit too about possibly maybe turning this into a bit of a podcast where we could have video or just audio, and we can follow up with things. Like we can have this conversation with Eddie, and then in a month or so as we head towards junior season, we could have a 15-20 minute conversation with Jay and talk through his approach to the league. We could have, like you and I talked the other day, have somebody come on and talk through what parents should expect at player evaluations. And we can have I don't want to be too ambitious about, one a week, every week for a year, but, one or two a month at key points and give updates about the league and what's going on probably is not a bad idea.
I want to see the talking heads predict the majors finish for spring.
that's right. That's right. We'll do a panel on
a panel, and everybody can kind of give like the Sunday show, football shows and things like that.
That's right.
But we can do get to know some of the board members, get to know some of the majors coaches, stuff like that.
Yeah. Well, let's see how this one goes.
Yeah.
We can do that.
I think, but I think it will be good. It's a question that I get a lot. Yeah. As a majors challenge manager, we did a session. I did one kind of with the 12/spring. And I think Mike was there, and because for a lot of them, it's their first time kind of wading into this. But I think for me, it's like there is no need to play travel ball before you get to 13. Zero need, and I think David Taylor would tell you that. I think Denny Puckett would tell you that. I think parents who've been through this and this assumption that there is better baseball, automatically better baseball, better coaching, better competition, whatever it is in travel ball, I just don't see it.
Right.
Are there teams that are really, really good travel ball teams? Absolutely. Does that mean you're going to have a good experience? Maybe not. I've said to the 12s,
and if you're that top level,
like, hey, look, if you were at Myers Park the last couple of years when Dilworth's been playing Myers Park in 12s, you will not find a better youth baseball environment than that anywhere.
Yeah,
you just won't. I mean, like not around here, not in travel ball. I mean, maybe if you go to Elm Street in Greenville for a state championship game, something like that. But and that's right. So yes, there are good travel ball teams. There's also really bad ones, bad coaches, bad experiences. And if you really want to, you could probably work out doing both.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We've had some people do it, and that may continue to some degree. But
and seeing these kids go on to school ball, high school ball, it was cool at Myers Park to see so many of those guys remembered playing against each other and challenge at 12 and all-star tournaments and all the stuff. Like now they're teammates, but they remember playing against each other when they were 8 and 10. It's cool to have that environment, and you don't get that in travel ball.
Our first challenge tournament ever, we got beat by Mara 35-1 or something like that as 8-year-olds in machine pitch. Turns out, it's a couple of Sam's Corn Dogs teammates were on that team. They went to Florida to national championship that year as an 8U team. So,
wow. Yeah, I mean, look, it's the Little League's the whole experience, right?
Yeah.
Coaching is one piece of it. Competition is one piece of it, but it's the whole Little League environment. Yeah. Playing with your friends,
hanging out at WIT all day on Saturday and chasing foul balls and stuff like that. And I think that's one of the reasons Corn Dogs does not go younger, and I don't think they will go younger.
All the conversations I've had with Eddie is that he's a big believer in Little League, through age 12. That's just so I don't see him as somebody who's gonna start up a young 8-year-old.
Yeah, whether Stampede does or not, because they like the money over there, so
they do. And that's the other thing, right? Pretty much anybody, well, maybe not anybody, but pretty much anybody can play travel ball. Like I mean, Stampede started a third team, I think, at some age group, and
we said that to parents, like somebody will take your money,
right.
If you want to say that your kid is playing travel ball, somebody will take your money.
Right.
Yep.
Right. Yeah. And if you want to give up your weekends and you want to travel to, for
Yeah.
practice, you want to go a long way.
Yeah. If you think all these travel ball teams have quote unquote professional coaches, I got news for you.
Right. Right.
I mean, our 13s beat the hell out of Stampede's 13, like, their 13's B team. I mean, it wasn't even close.
Right.
Yeah, go talk to Rob Ford about his experience with Hank on Stampede. I mean, it's awful.
Yeah, talk to the Fords, the Cones, or the Tadios, or the McDowells, or yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Rhett and Rocco are back playing Park Sharon. It's Park Sharon Nationals, but it's it's not like travel ball.
Right. Yeah, and I think, and there's also the reality of it, right? In that if you are going to go to Myers Park High School, playing on that A team, Stampede A team, is probably what you need to do. Like
right at age 14.
At age, yes, correct.
At age 14, it's certainly helpful.
Yes.
Yeah, it's certainly helpful. Well, there are kids there who've gotten, who did not have a good experience with Stampede, have left Stampede, and we'll see what that does to them at Myers Park.
I think it's going to be tough. I think, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. You're right.
Yeah, so it'll be good. But
there are always a lot of comments made. I'm not sure it always plays out, but there are always hints of threats and comments, and see where it goes.
Yeah, I mean, there's politics. I get it, right? And so,
but most of our kids aren't really. I mean, look, we do have a few that are, and we've actually got a decent number that are going to be playing at Myers Park, and hopefully we end up with a few at Catholic and Latin and some of these other places. But
PD,
but it's a small percentage, right? And so for most people, it's how are you going to enjoy baseball?
Yeah. I mean, and I think Eddie will say, if you're playing travel ball at age 14 or 15 or something like that, it's because you want to play college baseball.
Right. That's right.
If you don't, you are wasting your time and money.
Totally agree with that.
Yep.
Totally.
And he'll say that. And he's like, at Corn Dogs, we're not looking for kids who are going to get drafted. That's not what we're trying to do here, right? We're not trying to put together like the top elite teams in the state. But, it is, it's $2,500 for the summer, right? You're going to pay that kind of money. And, they've got 4 tournaments. Sam's team's got 3 or 4 tournaments in South Carolina this summer, right? If you're not serious about it,
and that $2,500 doesn't include your travel expenses, right?
Nope.
Your hotel and all that.
Nope.
No, and that will be, so when we talk about like travel ball myths and realities, we're on the realities. Let's talk about cost, right? Doesn't include uniforms, doesn't include, it's.
And Jay's shown, I think, that you can have a good baseball experience in juniors, seniors, 18U.
Yeah.
We've put together competitive teams. Sure, the coaching maybe isn't quite as good, but in some cases, you've done a great job with it. I think you do a good job. There's a couple others that do a good job. Coaching's decent, and you're not spending a lot of money, so you can supplement it with private lessons. And then he delivers. There's a competitive environment. They took a team, the seniors, all the way to St. Pete. And, that's great. 18U went to, they go to nationals, or was it just I forget what it was.
Regional. Yeah.
In Petersburg.
Junior should have won. Of course, the juniors team that was in, like, the team we lost to last, Wilmington, is out of Little League now. They've gone Cal Ripken, Babe Ruth.
Maybe that's good, I guess.
Yeah,
eliminates competition. We can go further, but
yeah, I think there's a lot of those kids who aren't. Sammy McDonald's not going to play travel ball, but or the not more, but like the Fries and people, like for kids like that, the experience they had, going to states 2 years in a row and then going to regionals. There's something there, right? So
yeah, it's really good. Now, I do think it's important that and I know you'll do this, but to be balanced, and you need to talk about the positives of travel ball, right? And because we don't come off as authentic if we don't talk.
No, it's all trade-offs. It is absolutely a balance, and
it has its place.
Yeah, but the fact that all those kids, are still playing juniors and seniors and trying to fit it around travel ball means that, there's something about the experience that they value. And, Rocco and Sam want to play together. You know,
Yep.
that's a piece of it.
Right.
So
Right. Good. So
yeah.
okay, so we'll get Eddie. It sounds like you've got a good framework, Greg, of how to conduct it. My thought is that we'll set up a time. Like I said, I'll give a quick introduction to
Mhm.
half of Dilworth Little League and
Yeah.
introduce the two of you. Let you go at it. I don't know, 30 minutes is that?
Yeah, 25, 30 minutes. I
Yeah.
think I don't think you want to go longer than that.
Right, right. And then, so
Just
after I make my introductory comments, Mike, you can pull me back to backstage. We'll let Greg and
Yep.
Eddie go at it for that 20, 25 minutes or whatever. I don't think I need to come back on. I think, Greg, you can probably just close it. Mike, is there anything else from a production standpoint? Like, do we need to have different background? Like I'm here in my home office. Do I need to have like a different background? I don't know how to do that.
I don't think
Weird.
so. I don't think we do. I don't think that's that big of a
Okay.
deal. If you're someplace, you can always blur your background. I think I haven't played with this tool
yeah,
much.
and Eddie will be in his office, his home office. That's where he generally does this run. So
And what I'll do is, Chris, the kinds of things I do for our streaming where I make that little graphic to show before the game, like here's what's coming up next. I'm going to make like a graphic like that, and I'll drop our video on top of that. So it'll look a little bit polished and then like have some production value to
Right.
it.
And I guess we want some shelf life to it. So I guess we need to be careful about, obviously we're not going to be perfect, but about saying, like last week or next week or, just keep that in the back of your mind, I guess, Greg, and that we want to have some shelf life to it. So try not to.
yeah, I mean, we'll talk generically about, hey,
This time of year.
stage 13, travel ball season is generally late May through end of July, and then September and October, or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah, that's absolutely appropriate. Yeah.
Tryouts for summer travel ball teams are going to be in October and November.
Right.
Which is a lot earlier than a lot of people would expect, but yeah.
Right. Yeah. When you get, that's obviously very important information to communicate. Yeah. I'm just thinking about specifics like,
Yeah, for sure.
Sure. Whoever just won the World Series or stuff like that. Or we got NFL playoffs coming up this week, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay. Mike, what else do we need to think about just from a production? Does this all sound pretty straightforward, or is there something else we need to do?
I think this is pretty good. So what we'll do like we did today. We'll get everybody on, make sure everybody can hear each other. We don't have echo and all that stuff going on. And then I'll probably like count it down and start the record, and then we can go with whoever's going to speak first. So like if you're going to kick it off first,
okay,
we can do that. And then when you're done, I can pull you backstage. Your video will disappear, and then we'll roll with it.
Perfect.
Awesome.
Great. Well, thanks, Greg, for doing this. Mike, thanks for the production. I think it'll be nice. This will be good. I think, a lot of parents are. This is a question that a lot of parents have, I think, and doing maybe we do another one where we do bring in a David Taylor. We bring in Michael Allison's parents. We bring in people who've been through travel ball. Maybe they've been through high school ball, and so now they've seen some. I think that sort of experience is really helpful. The Aloises, somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think those might be interesting for kind of a next iteration, is to have a panel.
Well, another perspective, if he'll do it, we could bring in Chris Williams. He's got two boys playing
college ball. That's right. People who've had people playing in college. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. So I think we have a lot of options, and then this could be a springboard. Like some of the other ideas, I think we should absolutely do something like this for field prep.
Right.
I'll take video out with Chris Fry. We'll talk through how to not put a lip on the field and how to not make drunk baselines.
Right. Yeah. No, I'm interested to see how this turns out. I think it's great and could open us up to a lot of opportunities. But yeah, let's get this one under our belt. So yeah, we'll just wait for you to get back to us on it.
Yeah, sounds good. All right.
Cool.
Chris, I'll see you bright and early tomorrow morning.
Yeah, 8:30.
For the weekly 8:30 game. All right.
Okay. See you guys.
Bye.
See you guys.
Thanks.
Okay.